I think that patient empowerment is crucial, and it's really happening right now. This is what we really see, that patients are being treated as partners and as very important part of the whole healthcare system. Of course, we are trying to collaborate with many stakeholders, as possible, with medical experts and also pharma industry, to really show the problems and to really not only show the problems that patients are dealing with, but also show the recommendations and solutions that are created by patients and experts together.
In the United States, we created a group called the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, whose mission it is to engage patients early and often in the development of those comparative effectiveness research studies. And what we're learning is that the outcomes that patients want to achieve are much different than what researchers think they're trying to achieve. And so I think getting out of this, we call it the ivory towers, getting out of the ivory towers and finding out really what's going on with patients and what they're trying to achieve in their care is a culture change.
It's key that patients are involved in, for example, healthcare technology assessment, and this is something that luckily we see happening more and more regularly now. Yeah, I think this is the only way that we can change things ultimately, by having our voices heard.
But I do think it's changing in the clinical community. I think doctors are much more open to those kinds of conversations, and that team-based care that you talked about, where it's not just the doctor involved, right? It's the nurses and the whole team engaged.
Well, we're not talking about an individual, we're talking about a family. Because you talk to physicians, it's rare that just one individual shows up, the patient. That patient is surrounded. They've got people, sharing information with them, family members, friends, and there is a wealth of information. Is it the right information? That's something we can improve upon and make sure it's the right information. But all of this information should spark a great dialogue between the patient and the caregiver.
Yeah, I do agree. There's a huge gap in access to information and reliable information in different, for example, European countries. And this is what we should focus on from the very beginning. If we have this necessary information, then we can really be a part of the whole process, and we can really share them with patients.
And I think the information goes every way, that everybody at the table is learning. All the stakeholders are learning, and the landscape is moving fast with information technology today. And I'd say in many patients, depending on the disease state, they're treated with multiple therapies. So their disease state could be complex. The therapies that they're treated with could be complex, and they all interact with each other. But really keeping the patient at the center of that, of what we're trying to accomplish, because I fundamentally believe that everybody that's trying to have access to innovative medicines for patients has one goal in mind, and that's to help patients get better.
Of course, I think what is key is the multidisciplinary team, or the team who treats the patient and the patient, to have a real effective, communication, two-way communication, because with complex diseases as neuroendocrine tumors are, for example, it's a struggle for the patients to understand what's going on with them, or what's at stake with them, and also for the physicians it's a big challenge to tackle the disease and to manage this. I think it's also important that it's not really company or industry-driven information provision, but a result of a collaborative effort. And I think companies and pharma companies are very open to this already, which is a great also asset to the community, I believe.
You're absolutely right. We're as hungry to learn about how new drugs and drugs fit into the marketplace and how they impact patients. We want to know that as well. And to your point that we shouldn't own it. We can collaborate. I like how you say collaborate, because I think that's great. And there's skills and expertise we have, and there's skills and expertise other stakeholders have, that when you add all these up and collaborate, we can answer some of those big questions that patients and policymakers, we have, physicians have, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's about bringing awareness to a new level, which is advocacy, in fact, and really going to the decision makers with an informed task list, if you wish, and advocating for what we need to improve care for our patients.
Yeah, and hopefully, I think our goal is to have decision makers look at the value of healthcare in a context that more reflects what patients want to achieve, and to look at it over a longer period of time.
Yeah, we're really showing like the long-term perspective. So not only the treatment part, the treatments are expensive, but we also want to show the social impact. So the patients come back to really socialize, they work, they spend taxes and so on. So this is not only cost, this is really benefit for the society when people come back and they are healthy and they can live their lives, they're supporting their families and so on. So this is very important.